Hello, welcome to today's video and welcome to Ubuntu TV. Guys, today I want to bring a conversation to the table, and that conversation centers around the title of a book that almost every student of social sciences and humanities in Nigerian universities read before he or she graduates. By the special grace of God, I've read this book over and over again. So the title of that book is How Europe Underdeveloped Africa. So the conversation I want us to have today is how relevant is this, school of thought in today's Africa? Do you still agree and do you still believe that, this argument that Europe underdeveloped Africa is still valid? Because for me, that argument has, since been overtaken by events. I no longer share that view because when you look at what is happening in Africa today, and even since independence, you begin to identify where the true problem of Africa lies or is coming from. It's coming from African leadership and African culture, because no society can be divorced from the influences of its culture. Because, I read a book that taught me how geography defines the history of a people. So, part of what constitutes geography is the people's characteristics. The characteristics and attitude of a people within a geographic location is part of their geography, and also the resources available to them. And now, of course, the characteristics of the people will determine how and what they will do with those resources, how they will harness it, and how they will, make use of it for the benefit of all. This is the problem of Africa. So, what are the choices that we make? A lot of times people, lump the problem of Africa into what is called leadership. I agree. Chinua Achebe will always say that the problem of Africa is a problem of leadership. I totally agree. But I want to actually open up that, black box called leadership to be specific about what those leadership issues represent. So, 60 something years after independence, is it still right for us to blame the Europeans for the problems that they created in Africa? By the way, according to the author, the problem that Europeans created was that they actually came here with the sole aim of expropriating resources from our own, environment, and take it back to develop and build their industries. So, because of this interest, they built the roads, the railways, and all the, infrastructure leading to those places where the resources were located, and direct to the seaports and the airports where they take those things back to their own countries and their metropolis. Perfect argument. And that is true because all evidence shows that that happened. Secondly, they brought education system that served their interests of grooming people who can read and write in order to be able to function as clerks in their factories. Also, they gave us religion that has been described as one of the things that is holding us back. So, and so many other things that you can go ahead and mention. And I'm happy that we have identified these things as a problem. Now, a lot of people also argue that Europeans actually, did something on our psyche and our mindset. And that mindset has been the one what is holding us back today. Now, that is also in a way true. Having identified all these problems, why are we still, caught up in that, flimsy excuse of Europe as the ones that underdeveloped Africa? Because There were countries that was colonized by Europeans also that are doing well. Take America, for instance. Take Singapore, for instance. These were colonized by Europeans. Now, there is a country that I know that was not colonized by anybody. The country is Ethiopia in Africa. How far is Ethiopia faring as a country? So when you juxtapose these facts and evidence, you begin to see that the problem of Africa is indeed Africans themselves. Now, let me tell you a little bit of what I know about American history. During the early days of America, American founding fathers came together and they asked some fundamental questions. The first question they asked was they decided that for them to be out of colonialism, they have to strip themselves of everything that is a sign or symbol of their colonial masters. So they started by asking, what is the economic system that their colonial masters was practicing at that time? And the answer was that the economic system that they were practicing at that time was colonial system of economy, whereby they go and colonize a place and expropriate the resources from that place back to their country. And America decided that they were not going to practice that. And America started shopping for the best economic system that is suitable for America, that will also make them to be independent indeed from their colonial masters. And incidentally, that same year that America was founded, 1776, was the same year that a British moral philosopher called Adam Smith wrote a book called The Wealth of Nations. In that Wealth of Nations, Adam Smith was trying to tell his country, Britain, what to do in order to come out of the dependence on their colonies, because Adam Smith identified that these colonies were already being agitated and they were already fighting colonialism. So he was asking his country in his days, if eventually these colonies become ungovernable for you, what will you do? So Adam Smith proposed the free market system of economy, which we call today capitalism. So do you know that American founding fathers buried their heads, according to historians, into that book and understood everything and every idea that Adam Smith was trying to put forward? And they copied that idea and implemented it, and America became the first and the most powerful country to apply and successfully so capitalism. Now, the next question was, what governance system or what political system is their colonial masters practicing? The answer was parliamentary system. America said, no, we are not going to practice that same system if we are to be truly independent. And America now said, what do we do? America now went to the Athens in Greece and now copied Greece kind of democracy, came back and now modified it to suit American reality and the American environment, and tailored it to their own environment, introduced Senate, introduced House of Representatives. Okay, I think it was the Romans that gave us Senate. America introduced House of Reps and also Senate, and blended democracy to become what is called today representative democracy. And America started on a sound and original footing based on American reality and the American environment. And indeed, America became free. So now, what has happened in the case of Africa? All the systems of the colonial masters was retained, including our legal jurisprudence. Today, in Britain, it is the legal jurisprudence is based on the fact that a man is presumed innocent until proven guilty. That's what we still practice in Nigeria today. It is still a vestige of colonialism. Why have we retained it? Does this jurisprudence, is it suitable or is it incongruous with our own environment and our own reality? That's the question. So, and what has stopped us from using a different one that's suitable to our own environment? Because I read an article where the late Dr. Alice Ikweme proposed that we should adopt a jurisprudence that says a man is considered guilty, let him prove himself innocent. And that is to some extent original thinking. And today that is what is working in France. So now that is one aspect. Look at our education system. We have recognized that the colonial masters brought this education to suit their own interests. Having recognized it, have we changed it? Have we done anything transformational in our curriculum and in our education system to fit our economics, our economic and our environment? The answer is no. Because today, students and pupils still go to school to learn that A is for apple. That A is for apple is a typical demonstration and evidence of how our education system is far removed from the realities of our environment. Because apple don't grow in Nigeria. So you see, what I'm saying now is that we need to begin to look at the choices that we make before we point accusing fingers on anybody. What choices have we made right from independence up till now? What cultural practices are we applying even in governance? What type of leadership are we producing? What is it that controls our decisions? These are the things that I think we should look at. Instead of blaming anybody, we should look at our interests in the global scheme of things. What is the interest of African nations? To what extent are we promoting inter and intra trade within African countries to be able to, maximize our potentials? These are some of the questions that, we need to revisit and be able to do something, because Africa has been identified as a continent of promise. But the question now is, how do we translate the potentials that Africa has into economic miracle? These are the questions that we need to ask at every level. Don't think that these questions are left for those who are in political leadership alone. Today, Africans are still practicing, peasant farming, subsistence farming. To what extent can that take anybody to be able to compete on the global stage? Now, Africa has reduced itself on the economic spectrum as the supplier of raw materials to the rest of the world, who now add value to this and now bring back those products into Africa, and Africa pays higher. And by so doing, they will take all the money from Africa back to their country. While Africa remains worse off for it, the rest of the world remains better for it. The jobs are being exported. What decisions are our leaders taking to that extent? What is our culture? Do we have a culture of, taking care of our citizens, or do we have a culture of self-aggrandizement? These are the problems. I am happy that one of my friends told me that somebody has written a book titled How Africa Underdeveloped Africa. Or sorry, How Africans Underdevelop Africa. Very excellent work. I've not read it. By the time I read it, I will bring to us the next conversation. So, guys, I don't think this statement is still relevant in our modern times. We have to look inwards to change the narrative. Whatever that Europeans have done wrong within our society can be reversed by us having gotten independence. That is the essence of the agitation for independence and self-rule. So, please, guys, this is what I think on this matter. And I want to hear from you on the comment section. Let me know what you think. Let me, get your comments on the comment section. Please let this video go viral so that a lot of people can see it and begin to think differently. Innovation, creativity, and science and technology is what is driving the world today. Africa is nowhere to be found, because Africa must define what its interest is. No other country can protect your interest better than you. So what is Africa doing to promote, innovation, creativity, science, technology within the shores of Africa, so that Africans can begin to produce and manufacture technology, and also begin to look at areas of comparative advantage to be able to strengthen African economy, so that African citizens will have the jobs that they desperately need, so that African citizens will stop this illegal migration and unnecessary risk that they are taking on the high seas and what have you. So I think it's high time we begin to do things differently in order to change the African reality. Please follow me on my YouTube, follow me on my Facebook page at Ubuntu TV, and subscribe to my YouTube channel also at Ubuntu TV. Let me know what you think. I hope this video helps you to change your mindset and makes you to think in a different way. Please watch out for my next video.